What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Final Cut Pro 10 tutorial. Thank you so much for stopping by to watch another video of mine. In today's video, I'm going to show you the top 5 effects for Final Cut Pro 10. You guys don't need any plugins and you guys don't need any presets. You guys don't need to download any special type of software. So what you want to do is you want to go into your effects. You want to make sure that you film your video in a 360. Your video has to be a 360 video for this one to work. So if you have like an Insta 360 1X, that's like a camera, it's a 360 camera. All you gotta do is import it into your video. You'd have to convert it into like an MP4 and then import it into Final Cut Pro 10. And then you will know that your video is 360 compatible with the tiny planet effect. If you have a little, like this little 360 icon in the top left of the thumbnail here. So all you gotta do is make sure that you have your project. If we move this to the trash and I create a new project, I'm just gonna name this top 5. And we're gonna go down to, yours is probably gonna go on use automatic settings, but we're gonna click use custom settings. We're gonna go to video, we're gonna do 1080p HD, make sure all of your settings are looking like mine, and click OK. We wanna work with a flat profile. We don't want a 360 project. Click and drag this into the timeline. We're gonna go down to the orientation tab and go to mapping and change from normal to tiny planet. So now it's going to look like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in quite a bit, or maybe around here. And we're going to go to the tilt, and we're going to tilt this the opposite. So we're going to type in -180 and press enter. And then we're going to change the field of view so it's a little bit closer, maybe around here. So we have this kind of like inverted tiny planet. So now if we go to the pan Y, you can rotate this to get your desired result. So this is what the video would look like. It'll look really, really nice. Moving on to the next effect. Alright guys, so our next effect is coming from Rick Ross's music video. So I'm going to go and push play so you guys can see what the effect looks like. Alright, so first things first, you want to import your video and the audio into the timeline. I've already done that. Next thing you want to do is you want to find the kicks in the song. Most of the time it's going to be hip hop, but you don't have to use hip hop. Just find a place where you're going to be hearing beats, and most of the time they're going to be repetitive, and you can tell by seeing these quick little jumps here. And we're going to be using those as a reference or as a guide to help us place the flickering blinds. So if I go back and I push play, I'm zoomed in quite a bit here, as you can see, so I can see the individual frames. So now if I go back and I push play, right here is our first kick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the time head right there. Then I'm going to go into the generators by going into titles and generators. Go to custom and drag that directly on top of where the effect is actually going to start. Then you want to go into the transform in the inspector window. Go to the position, and under Y you're going to have 0. Click and drag that, or you can type in a value. I'm just going to drag this around towards the middle around here. Now once you've done that, you're going to make a copy. Hold down Alt or Option, or just Option, and then drag upwards to make a copy. Select the top one, which is going to be our copied version. Then what you want to do is you want to go back to the Y, click and drag this back down to 0. We're going to go into negative, so keep dragging this. It's just going to move it all the way down. And then we're going to make a little gap here. We're going to select both of these, trim these, so these are a bit too long. And maybe we can make this a little longer actually, maybe around here, just why not, right? So we're going to right click and go to new compounds clip, or hold down Option G, and just name this whatever. I'm going to name it box. So now we have a little black box overlay on top of our video. So all we're going to do now is zoom in onto the timeline until you see the individual frames. Then you want to make a lot of cuts on each of these frames depending on your song. So if your song has slower beats, you might have to adjust it accordingly. However, this one goes very, very fast, so I'm going to do it every frame, and I'm going to delete the rest. I don't need that. So now all I got to do is select the first one, and we're going to start by moving the position under Y. Just click and drag this upwards. I'm going to start this around here where it shows the white car. The next frame, which is going to be the next clip, we're going to move this down again. So just click and drag this. It might reset, so that's totally fine. We started like this, and we're going to make our way down like this. So we're going to go here, and then here, and then the next one we're going to continue downwards and then upwards again. All right, so I reached the end here, and for the next one, I'm just going to start moving this just downwards again a little bit. If you have extra, like if you have for the beat, if it continues going, just keep adding more clips, and then we can just go off of where we left off. So here we're going to start going. Once we reach the top, we're just going to go back down. So it's just up, down, up, down. So now if I go back and I zoom out, this is what your effect should look like, which looks really, really cool. And this effect looks perfect for this video. Moving on to the next effect. Alright, so the next effect is going to be coming from young Dolph's music video. This one's pretty much an X-ray effect, and it looks really, really cool. So this is the effect that I've done. I'm going to push play, and it just looks like this. It's very quick and very short. Alright, so first things first, you want to import your video into the timeline. This one's just from Shutterstock. Yes, it has a watermark, but it's just an example. Okay, so once you have your video in the timeline, you want to go into the X-ray. Just go on Google or just Pinterest, look up an X-ray of, it can be a body, it can be a face, it can be hands, it can be really whatever you guys want. I just did the face or the head, just like the music video. So I'm going to click and drag this into the timeline. Choose how long you want this effect to be. Usually it's about maybe 4 or 5 frames, so maybe around here, and then you can delete the rest. So I think that's fine. I'm going to zoom in quite a bit so you guys can see the individual frames. What you want to do is you want to select the X-ray clip, go into the inspector window, go to blend mode, and change the normal from normal, and then change that to light or screen, and it's going to look like this. Then what you want to do is you want to transform this so it fits within this guy's face, and I'm going to make this smaller here, and then you can also kind of tilt this a little bit. Okay, so once we have this going on, you're going to see there's a little bit of movement going on. Maybe you want to track that. You can just add a keyframe, go to the transform tool, add a little keyframe, go to the end of that clip, go 1 frame to the left. I think it actually goes the other way. That's fine, whatever. Okay, so once you're at this point, you want to click done, and then you want to go a couple of frames before it, maybe here and then here, make those 2 cuts, which is going to be about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frames. So once you make your cut from there, you want to go into the effects, you want to go into looks, then go to X-ray and drag that directly onto that clip there. Then you want to go into the video color corrections tab, and then you want to go into color and change, just change this a little bit. You want to really make this dramatic. So I'm going to make this a little bit blue here. I'm going to go into the saturation, and I'm going to maybe increase this a bit. I'm going to go into the exposure, and I'm going to drag the shadows quite low, like around here, almost to the bottom. So now what we're going to do there is we're going to skip a couple of frames, and we're going to go around here as well, and then we're going to copy the effects from this one onto this one here. So press Command C, select this one here, which is around 5 frames, and then you're going to hold down Shift Command V to paste the effects pretty much to this clip. So click paste. So now we have the same exact effects from this one. Go into the effect to King, and then we're going to go into Luma Keyer and drag that directly onto that clip there. And you're going to have Luma Keyer. It's going to look like this. It just makes the effect look better. So we're going to change the Luma from the shadows. We're going to bring this towards the middle, maybe around here. And then you can change this Luma going a little left. This is what it's going to look like. It's really quick. It's really fast, but it looks really, really cool. We're going to move on to the next effect. Alright, so this next effect is going to be the draw mask zoom effect, which you've probably seen already in a couple of music videos. And this is the effect that I've done as an example. First things first, you want to have your video in the timeline. I've already done that. Next thing you want to do is you want to split the video from where you want it to start and end. Well, we're just going to go into the effects for now. We're going to go into masks. We're going to go into draw mask, and we're going to drag the draw mask directly on top of this clip there. So now all we have to do is make a selection of the skulls and mouth. Done. It's gonna look like this. We're gonna invert the mask. Okay, so it's gonna look like this. If I click off of it, that's what it's gonna look like. Now what I want to do is I want to make a copy of this. So hold down Option and drag upwards to make a copy of that clip. Then turn off the invert mask button there. Click on the draw mask. We're going to zoom in first. We're going to go to around 100%. And then you want to move all these points to I'm going to move it to the top teeth. Now, once you're at this point, we can go ahead and zoom out and go back to fit. We're going to make another copy. So hold down Alt or Option, click and drag upwards. So now we have 3 clips. So the top clip, and I'm going to just move. There's a faster way of, instead of moving all of these, you can just highlight all of them and then click and drag downwards, and then you can select the top 2 and then move it down like this. Okay, now you don't want any of the black background to show, So you might want to move this up like this. Now if we go back to fit, it's gonna look like nothing happened. But what we're gonna do now is we're gonna keyframe this. So we're gonna go back to the beginning, move the playhead or the time head to the beginning of the top clip, which is gonna be the bottom teeth. Before we do that, we're gonna go into the transforms. We're gonna go to position, add a keyframe, and then move it a couple of seconds or frames inwards, and then drag this one down, all the way down. So now if we push play, it's gonna look like this, which looks really cool. Next thing is we're going to do the bottom clip as well, which is the top teeth. Same thing, just go to transforms, click the plus icon for the keyframe next to position, making sure that your time head is at the beginning, then drag the time head to the same time where this ends, which is around here, and then just drag this upwards. So now if I go back and I push play, they're going to open at the same time. Select all of these clips and we're going to group them. I'm going to name this skull 2. And so now this acts as one clip. So now we have to import our video. So import your video, which I've done here, and this is the video that I'm going to be using. So just put that beneath it, and I'm going to drag it right here. That's where I want the actual video to start. So we're going to delete this because we don't need that anymore. We're going to move time head at the beginning. We're going to go into transforms. Then we're going to go into position, add a keyframe there, and then add a keyframe in the scale. Then move the time head towards the end of that clip. Move it one frame to the left so you can see this. Then you're going to scale it all the way up, and then you can move this piece here. You should see a red line indicating that you are animating this by changing the position, making sure that this is centered. Then start to make this relatively large so that you don't see any of the edges, which is around here. So now if I go back, as you can see, if I go back, I keep going back, it's going to look like this. So now if I push play, it's going to look like this. Now, if that is again too slow, you can easily change it. So just right click, go to show video animation, then you can go into transform, and then you have this piece here. So you can move this, maybe you want it to go in faster. You can do it like that. So now what we have to do is make sure that the video beneath this one, so the background video, we want that to move along alongside the actual movement of the skull's mouth. Go into the transform tool, make sure your bottom clip is selected, and then you'll want to go into the transform, make sure that that is small around here. Don't change the actual size or the position of this. We want it to stay centered. So right here is good. We don't want it to be like this because that's going to ruin it. Make sure it's just around here. We're going to be adjusting the keyframes a little bit as well. Make sure that the time head is at the beginning. Then you want to add a scale keyframe and a position keyframe. Then go to the end of that clip, go one frame to the left, and then we want to scale this all the way up. We can adjust these individually now. So around here, we can add another keyframe. Just click on the transform tool and just scale this up as you need to. So we can now go with the left and right arrow keys. I'm pressing right on the keyboard. So right here, there's black bars. Make that bigger. So now if we push play, it's going to look like this, which is really, really cool. Moving on to the next one. All right, so the last effect is going to be the rotating effect inspired by A$AP Rocky's Sundance or Sundress music video. I don't know why I said Sundance. It's been a long day. But anyways, this effect is really cool. It's really simple to do. It's probably the easiest one out of all the other effects. And this is the effect that I've done. And of course, it's just rotating. So what we want to do first is move the time head to the beginning of that clip. And then you want to go into the transform right here, click show. And then you want to go into the rotation, click the plus icon to add a keyframe, move the time head to the end of that clip, move one frame to the left, and then you'll want to click on 0 and type in 360. So we have 360 degrees. So it rotates like this. Now what we want to do is we want to go into the effects. We want to go into tiling. Then you want to go into the tile and drag that directly onto this clip there. Now what we want to do is change this to around 2 or maybe 2.5. And then what you want to do is you want to go into the transform and just scale this up so we don't see any of the black bars. And then we want to keep zooming in so we don't see any of the edges of the other tiling, like so. So you just want to zoom in quite a bit, like around, I don't know, right here. Nobody would be able to really tell. So now if I go back and I push play, it's going to look like this, which looks really cool and really trippy. And I just really like this effect a lot. And let's say you don't want it to rotate to the left, you can actually just do the opposite. You can type in, I think it's negative 360 degrees. I'm not entirely sure. Let's try that out. So negative 360. So now if I push play, there you go. It does work. It's going to rotate the other way around. And it looks really cool. It's that simple. Sure, you might cut off some of the outside area, but for this video, this sample, it works perfect because it's an ocean. You don't really need that much. That is the effect for all of these. This one took a while to do, so it would really mean a lot to me if you guys subscribe, hit the bell notification so you guys don't miss out on a video like this, and do leave a like and comment down below what other video ideas you want me to make. Until next time, peace out.